Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So at $449 or the much higher £499 in the UK, should you actually buy this iPad 10 generation? Let's look at the good, the bad and the ugly when it comes to this brand new iPad from Apple, and in the end I'll tell you whether you should buy this iPad or if it makes better sense to go for other iPads in Apple's lineup. First, let's start with the good. Now, all-screen design is really a welcome change to the entry iPad. All the other iPads, that is the iPad Air, the Mini and the Pro, have got this redesign. So it only makes sense that the base entry iPad also gets this modern touch, and this definitely feels like a tablet belonging in 2022 as opposed to the old one, which looks similar to this iPad Air Generation 1 which I have here, that is back from 2013. Now, despite the lack of the thick bezels, which also means that you don't get that excellent home button Touch ID from the Gen 1, you still have the amazing power button Touch ID which works as good as the old one. Also on the good list are stereo speakers. And even though this is a small change on paper, this is going to make a massive difference to the iPad. See guys, the most popular task which people are going to do on this iPad is consume content. And having proper stereo sound whilst watching movies or videos will make an amazing difference. The iPad 9 Gen did not have this, but now its successor brings exactly that, and I tell you, this is one of the best upgrades to the entry-level iPad. Then you have the A14 Bionic chip under the hood. I know this seems like old gen when compared to the mighty M1 and M2 chips of pricier iPads, but really A14 is plenty to give you that smooth, lag-free, buttery iPad experience. Edit 4K videos or play with raw photo files or multitask like crazy, or even push the limits to the extreme via graphic intensive gaming, this iPad doesn't hesitate a bit. And then continuing with the good, we have the FaceTime camera in the location that makes perfect sense for FaceTime and video calls. For the first time on any iPad, we have the landscape camera, and that makes such a huge difference for all your video calls. Apple also throws in faster Wi-Fi speeds with Wi-Fi 6 on board and faster cellular speeds with 5G if you opt for the cellular version. Then you have that all-important USB-C port, making it an absolute breeze to transfer files or store files on external drives. Plus, you get that fast charging as well. And then finally on the good list is the iPad OS. Apart from Stage Manager, you do get all the cool features of iPad OS 16, like password-protected photo albums and notes, ability to edit iMessages, copying just the subject from pictures, and so many more. So that completes the good section of the iPad 10. Next, let's get on to the bad. First on the list is the display, which is not laminated and it doesn't support the white P3 color gamut. Now in real life usage, do they make huge difference? Well, the answer is no. See, non-laminated display is not a huge issue as the black borders conceal this and you end up using a screen protector anyways, so it won't make a big difference. And if you're not planning to use screen protector, then let me show you what happens even with dry hands and having anti-fingerprint coating on the iPad Air. These are stubborn prints which need alcohol wipes to clean them. Standard microfiber cloth or even the Apple cloth won't clean it. And the iPad 10 doesn't even have anti-fingerprint coating, so it will really get bad. You need to use a tempered glass screen protector as it is easy to clean and it legit protects your screen as well. And with that in place, laminated or non-laminated display doesn't make much difference. I know in 2022 a non-laminated display feels so last decade, but in this case it might work towards your advantage as replacing a non-laminated display is not as expensive as a laminated one. About the absence of P3 color gamut, this still is an amazing display, very vibrant and colorful as you can see here in comparison with my iPad Air 4. Next is Apple Pencil support. So despite the iPad Air looking chassis here with the iPad 10, you do not get Apple Pencil Gen 2 support. Now don't get me wrong, the Apple Pencil Gen 1 is still amazing, but the whole already awkward charging situation gets even more awkward as the Apple Pencil has got Lightning port at one end and the iPad 10 has got USB-C port, which means you need to get an adapter and charge it via a cable. Now, in my opinion, none of these points under the bad section are deal breakers, but the next one totally is. So finally, let's get to the downright ugly, and there is just one point here, and that is the price. An expensive $449 in America or a ridiculous £499 in the UK, this iPad 10 no longer is an update to the entry-level iPad 9th Gen, which was priced at just $329. It feels like this iPad 10 sits in its own little category, which, to be honest, doesn't really make much sense. To put this into perspective, you can get the excellent M1 iPad Air for just £70 more here in the UK. Don't go direct to Apple, but all reputed resellers like Currys, John Lewis and Amazon are still honoring the original £569 price and not the hiked up £669 price which Apple is selling for. So for £70 more, you get the M1 iPad Air, which is absolutely incredible in comparison. I really don't see why anyone would pay £500 for the iPad 10 instead of getting the excellent M1 iPad Air. Really guys, I made a lot of videos on the iPad on my channel and I simply love them. There is not really a single day in my life where I don't use the iPad. And every time until now, I never said don't buy an iPad unless it was just before the Apple launch. I always said each iPad model has its own user group, but for the first time ever, I'm saying do not buy this iPad 10. If you are on a budget, get the iPad 9, that too not from Apple as other resellers are selling it for cheaper, or spend a bit more and get the M1 iPad Air from authorized resellers again. I will leave all links down below, so just before you rush out to the Apple Store, check these prices first and then decide. Really guys, all the shortcomings of this iPad 10, the non-laminated display with no fingerprint resistant coating, no P3 color support, no Apple Pencil Gen 2 support, all this wouldn't have mattered if this iPad was priced at $329 or £319, which is what the entry-level iPad model was priced at. At that price, this iPad 10 would have been selling like hotcakes. I would have blindly recommended this to everyone, including my friends and family, looking for the most affordable way to get that full iPad experience. Really, every video review would have been totally different if this iPad carried that $329 price. I seriously hope that Apple realizes this as well and slashes the price of the iPad 10th Gen. Otherwise, I really don't see why anyone would opt for this iPad. So those are the thoughts on the iPad 10 guys after using it for a couple of weeks. What do you feel about this? Do let me know in the comment section down below. And if you're enjoying my content, a like to this video will go a long way guys, and consider subscribing so I can keep making these videos for you. As always, thanks a lot for staying with me until the end. I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.